With me rewatching Dracula Untold 10 years later, I must say, this movie is peak cinema for it to be 10 years old. So without further ado, let me show you why Dracula Untold is a top 5 vampire movie for me. Back in the 15th century, the Turkish had an army, and within those ranks was a man by the name of Vladimir the Impaller. Now, once the war was over, Vladimir went back to his home in Transylvania and ruled his people for the next 10 years in peace. Until all of that came to a screeching halt when Vlad found a Turkish scout helmet in his neck of the woods. Now, to me, that didn't seem all that bad, but to Vlad, he was ready to sound the alarms about it, because he was talking about some whatever the Turkish see, they conquer. Oh, head adding. Oh, mysterious adding. Because he didn't need to go up on that rock. He was just trying to get a flick for the gram. So once Vlad had got his pick for the villagersmeet.com profile, him and the guys had went up to a cave that he thought the Turks would be hiding in. So with these two scoping the scenery out first, the curly haired guy thought it would be a good idea to start cracking jokes talking about some, oh, the cave smells like your feet. Shut your stupid. So they go in the cave to try to find the Turks, but the only thing that they do end up finding is straight hands, because there's a monster in there apparently. And y'all remember these two from the cave entrance? Yeah, they got packed up. And do you want to know where Vlad is right now? Halfway back to the crib. He only made it out of that situation because of luck and hella plot armor. But you know, he gonna go back to the village talking like this.
I was chilling, man. I seen like 20 niggas start running through the door. I jump off the balcony with the motherfucking parachute on my back with 2 Dracos, nigga, like.
So with Vlad making it back to the crib, he met up with some priest guy, and he basically told him that the monster that he encountered was a vampire and to not take his ass back up there. So basically while they were talking, they were, yo, who put my siblings in this movie? Yo, what's up, y'all? Hey, I loved y'all role in Planet of the Apes, man. Y'all, hey, y'all was tough in that. Y'all was tough. So later on that night, Vlad goes home and we get to meet his wife, Marina, and his son, Ingris. Now remember those names for when shit hits the fan.
The next day,
everybody is celebrating Easter, eating and drinking good, until a member of the Turkish army pulls up on Vlad and starts pressing him. And once the messenger man seen that Vlad was not folding, that's when he dropped a bomb on everybody in the banquet hall.
There is one last thing. The Sultan requires 1,000 boys to join his Janissary Corps.
You know what I'm saying? That's tough.
You need to leave.
So sometime later, Vlad meets up with the Turkish army leader Mehmed. So Vlad and Mehmed go back and forth on the 1,000 boys, and then shit just gets even worse. Not only does Mehmed want 1,000 boys, he also wants Vlad's son. So with Vlad meeting up with Turkish army members for the handoff of his son, he comes to a realization and tells his son to run back to his mom. And you know, as soon as he said that, shit's about to get real. Vlad steals the sword straight out of Buddy's sheath and slices his arms off. He will never be able to do this again. Then blocks these two bozos and hits him with a 360 twirl. And what the fuck are you doing? There's nothing in this fight that calls for this level of maneuvering, buddy. Just wait your turn. Then he stabs him out the air, pimp slaps somebody, and calls for an ISO for the last guy. And just like that, 7 people have been sent to the gulag, effective immediately. So with Vlad packing up Turkish army members, of course, Mehmed will send reinforcements. And as of right now, Vlad and the rest of his people are not war ready. So Vlad goes up to the cave to try to find the power that he needs to try to beat the army. So with Vlad entering the cave, he comes face to face with the vampire. And Vlad is telling the vampire why he came back and what he needs the power for and what he's gonna do. And then Vlad drops one of the top 5 hardest lines in cinema history.
Because men do not fear swords. They fear monsters.
this nigga's spitting right now.
So with Vlad and the vampire done with their yap session, the vampire finally tells him the pros and cons of this vampire shit. The pros are hella strong, hella fast, has manipulation of nocturnal creatures, and has slight weather manipulation, and he can turn himself into bats. And the cons of this vampire shit is sunlight, silver, and an insatiable hunger for human blood. Oh, and probably the most important rule is that Vlad gets to go back to his mortal state in 3 days. He just has to not drink human blood for 3 days. Sounds easy, right? But if he does give in, he will become a full-fledged vampire just like like the one in the cave. So with Vlad taking a shot of blood to the head, he couldn't handle it and he basically passed out. And sometime later, he woke up outside of the cave with new vampire powers. And he was indeed hella strong and hella fast. So with Vlad seeing fighting in the distance, he rushes over to try to save his people from the Turks. And when Vlad gets there, he's standing on business, walking out to the army by himself, dripped out from head to toe. I'm glazing. But what's even crazier is how Vlad initiated the fight. You would have thought he was a first-round draft pick for the NFL for middle linebacker. But with Vlad successfully beating 1,000 men, now it's time to rest and prepare for the next fight. That next morning, we see Vlad over here tweaking on the ground like he just got some of that good stuff from Walter White. But really, it was the silver around his neck making him take damage over time. But once his wife took it off, he was good. And Vlad ended up telling Marina what he is because she asked where did his scars go. And when she asked him why did he go up to the cave and become a monster, here's what he had to say.
Because I send corpses back to Mehmet instead of our son.
That's what I'm talking about! That's why he's the MVP! That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
So with the most recent attack on Castle Dracula, the residents of Wallachia have to find a new place to go up in the mountains. And in order to make good time, they have to travel all day and night. And as you remember, Vlad does not do well in the sunlight. So he tells his wife to let the rest of them know to just go on ahead without him and he'll catch up, which eventually he does. But in that time, they get ambushed by the Turks. And Vlad's right-hand man, the one who was watching over Marina and Ingress, ended up getting packed up. And then Vlad ended up jump scaring the Turk that was about to murk Ingress and Marina. Bars! Oh my God! Somebody put me in a booth.
Nigga, I'm calling you Atkins. Nah, that ain't it, y'all.
But I'm not gonna lie, whoever made this movie cannot get away with this FNAF ass jump scare, bro. So with the next battle getting closer, Mehmet gets word that Vlad is basically a monster or is using dark magic. So to combat this, he blindfolds his army. What the hell? Then Mehmet goes and says some stupid shit like, you can't be afraid of what you can't see. Nigga, that is not true. Trying to hit me with that Yoda ass bullshit like, may not you be afraid, because blindfolded will be you. But anywho, that priest from earlier found out that Vlad was a vampire, so he pressed him. And then once he pressed him, the rest of the people tried to burn him and the house down. But my boy Vlad walked out of that house like a boss.
Big body smell like a pound of gelati. I made a pit stop with some Zyme in my tank.
Telling them straight up, it is what it is. Y'all wouldn't be alive if it wasn't for me.
I built this shit! Me! Brick by brick!
So with the Turkish army approaching on Castle Dracula, Vlad clocks in to put belt to ass. But the Turks ended up being 2 steps ahead because a few of them managed to sneak into Castle Dracula and attack Marina and Ingress. And with the attack on Marina, she ended up falling off of Castle Dracula and the Turks ended up taking Ingress. But with Vlad trying to save Marina, he just was not fast enough. And with Marina's last breaths, she told Vlad to drink her blood and get revenge and save Ingress. So with Marina dying, Vlad has nothing but revenge on his mind. And for all of the fallen soldiers that he had in Castle Dracula, he started turning them into vampires. So with Vlad on demon time and a bunch of new vampires to back him, he pulled up on Mehmet on go mode. Just for him to get his shit pushed in. Come on, man.
Get up!
And with a little bit of plot armor and the fact that he
swung his body to the side,
he was able to catch Mehmet lacking and suck him dry.
I'm trying to see what that be like right there. Look,
So with the Turkish army defeated and Mehmet 6 feet under, Vlad was able to save Ingress. But the problems don't stop there. All of the vampires that Vlad had turned do not know how to control themselves, and they all tried to jump on Ingress until the priest pulled up and saved the day, my nigga. So with Ingress finally safe, Vlad did the right thing and took himself and the rest of the vampires out until somebody came and revived him. But unfortunately, there is no part 2, and I don't think we will ever get a part 2 Dracula Untold. But you already know, if you made it this far into the video, go ahead and subscribe, give your boy a like, and go ahead and comment down below so I know you watched it. And peace. I'll see you in the next one.